Okay, so now that we have our notation out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look. And we already talked about that. Okay, we're going to start with this one. All right, so we're going to compose our f and g in this format. We're going to do f of g of x or f of g of x. Okay, so from your second notation, you can see that we're going to put g of x inside of f of x. Okay, I'll give you a second to write that down. Okay, so what we have is our g of x, which is x plus 1. True. Circle them up. It was orange. Orange 1 out. Why do you think orange 1? Because that's color of OSU. Okay. All right, so back to our functions here. All right, g of x is going to be put into f of x. All right, so wherever I have my x, I'm going to replace it with the x plus 1. So over here, I have an x squared, right? I'm going to take out that x and replace it with the x plus 1. Now, that x is what? This x right here is being what? Squared. So I have to do that here as well. Okay? So I just put the g of x inside the f of x. And then we'll need to simplify this down. So x plus 1 squared really is what? The square means you have, that means, yes, thank you. That means you have two of them. That means you have an x plus 1 times an x plus 1. And what method would we use? FOIL. So that would give us our first. Our outer would be x times 1, which is 1x. Our inner would be x times 1, which is 1x. So combine those two. 2x, yes. And then your last.
What's up with that 1x above the 2?
That's my outer.
Oh.
My outer and my inner. Because remember those, they're usually always like terms. So we combine them. Okay? So that is your f of g of x. That's your answer. That's it. So we're going to do the same thing we did here. We are going to put g of x inside the f of x. So my g of x is this whole thing, which is the 4 minus the x squared. And all of that's going to be put in where my x is. So what would that become now? So what would f of x now become? 4 minus x squared. And then plus the... What do you mean by use both of them? Okay. All right, let's do... I think I have one more though. How are we doing on time? Okay, we got time. Okay, let's do one more of this and then we'll do our numbers.
So the answer is x squared plus 6.
You guys try this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Try this one. So f of x is an x squared plus 1, and g of x is 2x. Try that one. You're still composing f of g of x, so you're still putting g of x into the f of x. All right, so I'm going to take my g of x, which is 2x, right? We're going to replace that back in to where the x is. So that would be 2x. And what do I have to do to the 2x? I have to square it. And then I still have what? Plus 1. So I have to square my 2x. 2x squared would be what? 4x squared plus 1. Can I do anything else? No. So we would stop right there. So in this case, I'm putting the g into the f. So I'm going to go ahead over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do g of 3. So if I do g of 3, that would give me 2 times 3, which is 6. And then remember what we just did in the book? Now that output of 6 becomes the input for my f of x, right? So now that becomes the input, right? Just like that. Kind of like the acres and the cost, right? That we did. So now if I do f of 6, that becomes 6 squared plus 1. And 6 squared plus 1 would be 37. Okay, so we're going to compose g first. So we're putting g in, so we're going to start with the g. So g of 4, we'll start with that. So that would be 7 minus what? 4. And 7 minus 4 would be 3. So 3 now becomes the input, right, for f of x. So that would then give us 2 raised to the third power. And so that would give us, 2 to the third power is what?
8.
8. 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Okay? And that's it. Let's try it the other way. Let's try it the other way, because we haven't done that. So let's do g of f of 4. See if we get something crazy here. So let's do f of 4 first. F of 4, so that would be 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the 4th power. So that's just one more than this. So that would just be what? 16. That's just one more than that. All right, and so then that becomes the input. Oh, g. Whoops. Let me start. So that becomes g of 16. So that would be what? 7 minus 16? Negative 9? Got it? So you can do it with the algebraic expressions, and then we can also do evaluating with our numbers. Any questions?
I love this class.
So here are our two answers, our f g of 4. F of g of 4 equal to 8, and our g f of 4 equal to negative 9.